Alright everybody, welcome back. It's October week, my boy's away to his football thing, it's on all week. Keep him busy and that. His classes are off and I'm just getting all this chest infection, so thought I'd do another wee story about a guy that I had the misfortune to come across in Low Moss prison when it first opened. It was a guy from Kashmir, right, Pakistani Kashmir, right. Um, his name was Javid, but everybody called him Jav. Um, so when Low Moss first opened in start of 2012, I get moved there for Berlin, and obviously they took a lot of guys for a lot of other jails. Now, the thing is, right, if there's always somebody that's got a mobile in the jail, right, even an illicit one. This was back before they were handing phones out, obviously, and it's just, I don't know, people just Google you to see what comes up in case you're dodgy, a beast, whatever. And somebody was saying to me that what he was in for, because I'd never seen his case in the news or in the papers. So this boy that sat at my dinner table, he was like, he's in for killing his missus, the mother of his child, but she wasn't from Pakistan, she was from Latvia or Lithuania, right? And his wee lassie had to go and stay with family there once he'd killed the ma. So he'd basically stabbed his missus to death for what, like, what, I've googled it since then, obviously, if I've been out, and it was saying how he'd stabbed her to death because she criticised him in front of his pals at his birthday party. Madness, man. So this fool was 2 or 3 doors down for me, and nobody would speak to him. It just seemed like he had a high opinion of himself, right? There was only one guy that spoke to him, a wee boy Raheem, who was also a lifer for Pakistan, but Raheem wasn't in for Raheem was in for killing a guy. And I used to teach Raheem English. He would always come round to my cell and get me to help him. Sometimes I couldn't be bored, but I would help him most times, right? So went there in 2012, and then 2015, right, there was this major terror attack in Tunisia, right? It was a guy running up and down the beach with an AK-47, just blasting tourists, right? And all these tourists, I think all of them were from Scotland, and a lot of them were from Scotland and all the UK, right? So and this was when all this IS stuff was going on. They were kidnapping aid workers, leaving them in the desert, putting on videos, and it's all the tellies and all that. So there was do you know what I mean? So we were all talking about the thing that happened in Tunisia, and see, the thing is, right, see, the mother of my son, her stepdad and her ma were just back for this place either a week or 2 weeks before it, right? So I was especially no just rattled, but a bit pissed off, right? Like, what, man? So that Jav's walking by when we were all talking about it, and he said something like, that's what happens when you invade our countries, that's payback or something. And I'm like, what? So that just pure struck a chord with me. So back then I was reading a lot of stuff like that because I was just nearly finishing my degree, and as I got to the end of it, I was reading a lot of kind of Middle Eastern stuff as to do with terror and all that, because when you're doing criminology, it's not just about, you don't just, obviously I was doing it on prisons and rehabilitation, but you don't need to always do it on all that. The good thing with criminology is you can study a different thing every day, for cybercrime, human trafficking, terrorism, organised crime, financial crime, so you've got hundreds of shit. So I was reading a lot of that at the time, right? And when he'd made that comment, it just pissed me off. So started doing wee things like putting his washing in the bin, and getting my pal in the hot plate to steal his dinners and all this kind of shit. So after a while, I think he twigged that obviously I was kind of launching a wee covert kind of war against him, know what I mean? Because I knew he wasn't the type to confront you, because guys, I'd seen a guy Can't mind the guy's name, but he looked like a pirate, and he was always drinking that jail hooch, and he's cracked him about, and he just stood there, right? Now, don't care who you are, man, in the jail you need to fight back. It's just, do you know what I mean? That's just my personal feeling. Somebody lifts their horns to you, even out in the street, I know, you just have to make sure they know you're just not going to accept that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be assaulting people. You need to defend yourself to some extent. Do you know what I mean? You just need to draw the line between self-defence and assault. Easier said than done a lot of the times, I know that. But anyway, I know he wasn't the type to be, if I'd said, what, to go on a Peter and we'll sort this out. No, I knew he wouldn't have said it, so that's how I was doing it like that. Know what I mean? Just boxing clever, being smart about it. Or thought I was being smart. So one day he's walking past me and I'm standing at the pantry, right, in the doorway, and he's looking at me, right, and he said something, I can't remember what he said, but I done that, and she went to just rush him, but I don't know what made me look to my right, but I'm glad I did, right, because see, as soon as I took that first step out the door, turns around, looks to my right, and there's this big screw sitting there, right, Tom Selleck I used to call him, because he's got this big tash and all that. He's just sitting with his arms folded like this, look. As if, you go for him, man, I got to need to hit his bell and about 10 hours of rugby tackle, you know what I mean? So, obviously didn't go through with it. A week later or something, I'm lying in my cell waiting for my canteen. About 3 screws came in. You're getting moved up the stair. He's saying you're racially abusing him, not. No, I was pissed off because I'd been teaching his pal Raheem from Pakistan English for the best part of 3 years, so what that's no me. I knew for a fact if I'd been stupid enough to say anything like that to him, my feet wouldn't touch a flare. And also, that Low Moss was the closest jail to me for visits with the exception of Ballini, but I'm not going to do my sentence in Ballini because it's no catering for long-term prisoners. Can't wear your own clothes or that shit. So, Ballini wouldn't hold me anyway. So Low Moss was the closest for my visit, so end up moving us, and then I'm battering him as soon as I see him, and I was actually going to do it, but it was the middle of Ramadan, right, and I was sitting in the link centre one day and he walked in, but he had the imam with him, so I'm not going to attack him in front of an imam. That would be like me, somebody attacking me when I'm standing with a minister or a priest if I was a Christian, know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that. And next thing I know, I'm in my cell on Clyde 2, and they comes in again. This was like a week after they moved me out of the digger, racially abusing him, and I'm just like, but this time, see if I'd heard, I'd been pulling this out, right? Because you can't, it's like guilty until proven innocent, like we need to be seen to be acting on it and all this shit, right? So I was boiling, man. And I get took to the seg, right, down the digger, you're locked up 23 hours a day. Can't mind, I don't know, in fact I didn't have a telly, but I had my books and all that, I had a couple of books, I don't go anywhere without a book in the jail, I don't give a rat's ass, man, they're no taking it. So, I was down there, but all I could think about was, got to kill him if I see him again, man. And then after being down the digger for about a week, I gets took into the office and the governor says, you're got to Kilmarnock. And I'm like, I was bailing, man. Because I knew it was going to cause my visitors problem, because like a lot of my visitors have to use public transport and that would just give them a headache. They don't even know where Kilmarnock is, know what I mean? So, it was like, fucking hell, man. But I thought, see the positives in it. I know people down there, I'd never been there before. I'd heard a lot, I know it sounds mad saying this, but I'd heard a lot of good things about it, to be fair, so it was a lax jail and all this kind of shit, so I was just like, no, what take is in, but that held me back for 2 years, that case. As an extended sentence prisoner, I could go up for parole every 12 months, but see, because I'd been charged with this racially aggravated breach of the peace against a convicted murderer of all people, that held me back for 2 years. So when I was going for parole, they were saying, what's happening with that case? And I'm like, it's not been heard yet in court. And they're like, well, we can't give you parole then. As if they were going to give me it anyway. So, just pissed me off, know what I mean? Not just the fact it moved me, but I'm like, they couldn't do nothing to me anyway. I still had like by the time I'd been charged with that, I still had 4 years left of my sentence, so what were they going to do, put an extra bar on my window? It was just laughable, man, that they were using all this taxpayers' money to take me to court for this shit. Know what I mean? Well, they couldn't. The worst that could happen was I would have an extra charge on my record. There was nothing else it wouldn't have given me extra time or nothing. You know what I mean? The jail should have handled that, but you know the way it is. Know what I mean? So, took me to court, and I've never seen him wear anything other than trackies or anything that jav, right? But he came into court and he had the full regalia on, he had the hat, the big long gown and all that, and I'm just sitting looking at him going, hypocrite, man, your hypocrisy is just no bounds, man. So he's going through the questions with the prosecutor, and they're like, blah, 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 aye, he done this, he said that. And then my lawyer starts questioning him, right, and see for somebody that was trying to make an impression to the court with his religious garb on, fell flat in his face the minute my lawyer started questioning him, which I was quite pleased about. And he lost the plot, and when he was giving his evidence, when my lawyer was asking him, did you make comments about that Tunisia thing and all that, and he just went mental and all that. So he did. So he showed his true colours. Do you know what I mean? And even the judge and all that were just pure glaring at him. I get fun not guilty, and took back to Kilmarnock to finish my sentence. But that was just madness, that, man. To think that, do you know what I mean? Like, somebody in for the kind of thing he was in for, like, killed the mother of his child. To me, that is just, that's another level of kind of nut jobness. It's just crazy, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying the guy was a sympathiser when like that, because I'd never heard. I had inklings. He would say things in education that made me think he's not got a high opinion of our kind. But I'd never heard him making any kind of like statements that would have led me to think he was a hardcore sympathiser or anything. So I'm not going to sit and say that he was. But when he made that comment about Tunisia, especially the fact that my in-laws were basically just back for this place, I was like, no, man, I have to do something about this. And I'm not going to lie, I was in a bit of a mental flux back then between, because I'd had reports for mad shit all the time. I'd had a couple of reports for fighting and like doing daft things to the screws and all. Like, no fighting with them or nothing, like stealing their chocolates and all that. I get a report for stealing a tray of Thornton's chocolate right off the desk in front of the screw, man. Lifted it right up in front of him, and I was laughing as I was picking it up. And I'm staring right into his eyes, and he's like, what the fuck are you laughing at? And I was like, nothing. A full tray of Thornton's chocolate, man. Got a report for that, but that's another story. So I was just being a dick. Just being a dick all the time, because I was like, they're not giving me parole there. I'm doing a degree and I'm doing this and doing that, and I'm not getting reports, and yous are still treating me the same, so fuck you sort of attitude. No, I mean, I'm not going to sit and justify it and hang with it, because it is what it is, no, I mean, you take responsibility. But I got through it and that, so aye, that was just madness, that, do you know what I mean? But in a way, I have a lot of good memories of going to Kilmarnock, so at the end of the day, is what it is, innit? So that was a wee story I wanted to tell today, and I'll see you next time I'm on.